Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass.
Good morning and welcome to Saturday Conversation for February the 27th. You're very welcome to today. My name is Ruth Crosland. I'm a licensed lay minister, currently having a placement with the AVC Benefice, which is a group of churches in the northwest corner of the New Forest. And especially warm welcome this morning to Lynda Warne, who some of you will know, I'm sure, a lot better than me. So good morning, Lynda.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, all good here, thank you. One of the joys of being quite new on the block, a new kid on the block, I use the word kid loosely, is that I'm allowed to say to people, so who are you and how did you get where you are now? So Lynda, could you say who you are and how perhaps you've arrived wherever you are in the Benefice? I don't actually know where you live.
Well, I live in Woodgreen and I've lived here 35 years in May. And before that, I lived with my parents who had a farm at Mannington near Wimborne. So I grew up in Dorset, which is just over the border. So prior to living in Mannington, we had a farm in a little hamlet called Gotham, which is between Alderholt and Verwood. So we lived there up until my mid-teens, and then we moved to Mannington. Now, because my parents were farmers, they didn't have a lot of time to take us to church on Sunday. So it involved us being picked up by somebody who lived in a big house. They worked at the big house, they didn't own it. So my first foray into religion was at a little church called Edmondsham, which is between Cranbourne and Verwood. And that's actually where we got married in 1983.
How lovely. So this was kind of your church from quite early on in your life as a
very much so.
Girl.
Yeah. So mum and dad met in Ringwood because mum was a Ringwood lady. So we were christened at Ellingham Church, which is just up the road from here.
Yeah.
So I've been brought up around here over the two borders for a long time because Ringwood actually used to be in Hampshire.
Yes, I do remember that actually.
Yeah.
So I suppose I'm just a bit nosy. Have you ever lived out of Dorset or Hampshire? Have you ever lived anywhere else?
Yes, actually I did, because I trained to teach at Bath College of Higher Education between 79 and 83. So being a country girl, I was a bit wary of moving from home. So it was quite nice that Bath wasn't too far away. And we actually fell in love with Bath. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. And we're up on the hill so we could look down over Bath. So yeah, visiting Bath Abbey was a lovely experience, although I never actually worshipped there.
Right.
Which is a shame, really.
Yeah, well, never too late.
No, never
when
too
things
late.
are restored to some more kind of equilibrium, never too late to go back.
Absolutely.
So Bath college experience, loads of fun.
Lots of fun, but I'm not a party animal.
Right, okay.
But I've got a very good friend who teaches at Trafalgar School, so we had fun together, if you know what I mean. So
right.
yeah, but I remember getting involved in all the parties. What do they call it? Freshers Week.
Oh, Freshers Week, yeah.
Yeah, I remember helping get involved with those. I remember doing lots of pancake parties, and I'm the person that likes to be in the kitchen cooking. And I used to make up lots of pancakes on Pancake Day, but I don't really like pancakes. So my husband and son only get pancakes once a year, so they make the most of it.
Yeah, there's a wonderful pop song about "You'll always find me in the kitchen at parties." Yeah. So
that's me.
That's you, is it?
That's me. Yeah, yeah.
So I know a little bit that you have done a lot of cookery in your life, but let's just go back. So from Bath training, where was your first where was your first teaching post then?
My first teaching post was in Poole in Dorset, Henry Harbin School, which is now Poole Technical High by the Poole Stadium.
Right.
That was a tough place, very tough place to cut your teeth.
Yeah.
But I had the support of an amazing lady called Sally Harcombe, who sadly died a few years back, which was really, really sad. But she left me money, and that enabled me to go to Uganda with Reverend Nikki in 2018.
Oh, how amazing.
Yeah, so amazing lady. So I did it for her.
Right. Oh.
And I brought all the photos and videos back to show her sister, who's now 91.
Ah, so you've met Bishop Dan, who was the interviewee just this weekend.
Yes, right. Yeah. Amazing man.
When I didn't catch exactly when you said you went to Uganda, was that
2018? I think it was in the autumn. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And so when you had your first teaching post, was your subject domestic science or
no? It was home economics.
Yes.
And my main subject was food, but I also like sewing.
Right.
And I begged Sally to allow me to do some sewing lessons as well, which I did. But she said, "Are you sure you want to?" Because the lady who taught textiles at that time was a bit of a dragon. She said, "Are you sure you want to go into her lair?" Which I did. And so I've taught food and textiles sort of evenly throughout my career, bit of both.
Okay. And were these interests that you had as a child?
Yes, definitely. I went to Cranbourne School and Queen Elizabeth School at Wimborne, and I loved sewing and cooking at those schools. My grandma lived with us when I was young. I think she died when I was about 8. And I'm pretty sure she taught me to sew a lot. But I also remember the lady, Mrs. Bays, at Cranbourne Junior School, who taught me to sew as well. A lot of embroidery went on.
Right.
So yeah.
There's often a key teacher in our lives, isn't there?
Yes.
You know, who's as we are children, who are inspirational to us.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes also in our journey of faith, there are inspirational people. There are key people that we meet along our journey of faith as well sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Who just kind of transform what we think or give us new opportunities or whatever. Yeah,
it's all life is all about opportunities, isn't it? And whether you take those opportunities on or not, whether you're ready for them sometimes, I think.
Yeah. So the other thing I know about you, because we have met a couple of times, even in between the lockdowns, is that you sing.
I do.
I have to confess that when Gary said to me, there is a group of people called Hales Angels, I thought, do they all wear motorbike jackets, you know?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Turn up on these sort
we should turn up in like that at an event, shouldn't we? There's an idea.
Well, I think you should. Maybe a T-shirt on the front or on the back that says Hales Angels. Do you have any kind of costume team wear like that? You don't really, do you?
No.
Not yet. I think
Not yet. No.
Not yet. But,
Yes.
But you're a group of singers who sing predominantly at Hale Church, aren't you?
Yes. There's only 5 of us, but they tell us we make a good sound, so we have to believe them. Yeah. But my singing started, I think, when I was at Cranbourne Middle School. We used to have concerts, and I remember having to stand up on this decking, and that was very scary because you could fall quite away. I don't think they'd allow it to happen in school these days. So I remember singing at school, and Dad always had the radio on in the dairy for the cows, and he swore that having the radio on made them produce more milk, because if it was a power cut and you had to use the generator, he didn't have the radio on. So we used to sing when we were busy working as well. So yeah.
So you used to sing to the cows? Yeah. Charm the milk out of the cows. That's
right, that's the one. Yeah, I couldn't do it by hand. My sister could and my brother, but I could never get the hang of it. I was too scared of hurting them, I think. I don't know.
So do you play any musical instruments as well as singing, or is singing your thing?
No, I wish I did. I missed the opportunity to learn the clarinet at the middle school. So my children play though. So Emma, my eldest, learnt to play the flute, right, which was my sister's flute. And then Rachel, my middle one, plays the clarinet. Right. And Jamie had piano lessons, and now he writes his own music as well. So I passed my musicality onto them. And we always had a piano at home, and I think Mum played, but she never had time to play it. I never remember hearing her play.
Right. I have to say, it might not be too late for the clarinet. I have 2 friends who've just started, both in their early 70s.
Oh, good for them.
And you probably know, do you? I don't know. You know Hazel Ricketts, who is, I don't know her correct title, the assistant musical director at St Mary's at Fordingbridge?
No, I don't know her.
Right. Well, I've met her on a couple of occasions, and she's a clarinet teacher.
Oh, brilliant.
So, you might not have left it too late.
No.
There might be a little door there that opens.
Yeah.
I suspect, though, you have quite a busy life, really, don't you?
I can always find plenty to fill my time. I only gave up teaching end of February. So I left my last post end of February, which to me, I see as a sign from God that I needed to move in a different direction. So at the moment, I'm helping to look after my 2 grandchildren who live in a village. Mm-hmm. And we're in a bubble before anyone starts to get scared. Yeah. And I help out at our local community shop on a Thursday morning.
Okay.
And I've also been helping at Fordingbridge Surgery as one of the gatekeepers, trying to keep people out of the surgery. So I do that on a Wednesday morning. And I've also been helping with the COVID clinics.
Right.
So that's kept me pretty busy.
It has. And I remember coming to Woodgreen when we were able to, and I think it might have been in October or November, and noticing the village shop in Woodgreen. It's really a huge focal point, isn't it?
Yes.
Of the village, really.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And a lot of local produce, I think, isn't it?
Yes, they try to get in as much local produce as possible, and local crafts as well. So at the moment, I think we've got some scarves down there. My husband's got his pyrography pictures down there. They've got beeswax products, bee products. What else have they got? Lots of local lavender products and so on.
Okay.
So as well as local food products, there's arts and crafts. Oh, there's walking sticks, bird nesting boxes and so on, all sorts.
So you mentioned your husband in passing. Does he have a name?
Charlie.
Charlie. So yeah. Charlie sets fire to wood. Is that?
Yes. He's a carpenter. He's a carpenter by trade.
Right.
But he also does some lovely work, like you said, setting fire to wood. Yeah.
It's kind of burning pictures in
burning
wood.
Pictures. That's right.
I think I've seen it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's very artistic. Not me. I can't draw for toffee. In fact, a few years ago, I had to teach art.
All right.
They say you have to teach whatever your head teacher asks you to do. Oh my goodness, that was scary being in front of students when you can't draw, but I managed it. I went and watched first and just delivered the lesson, and really it was about crowd control.
Yeah, well, often, I'm afraid, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's right.
Sadly.
And finding something that will interest the children so that
Yes.
they're not actually too bored and too disruptive, really.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is to find something and hook them in, and then, you know, they haven't got time to be mischievous then.
That's right. So have you been involved in home education with your grandchildren? Yes,
because first lockdown, Devon is now 6.5. So the school wasn't really geared up like they are now. He goes to Bremer School. I mean, they're really onto it now. But yeah, nanny. We had nanny school. lots of marking by nanny, and you know, stickers and so on.
Right.
I used to go up there every day and be outside the gate, just to get them outside in the fresh air and have a conversation with them to help try and keep me sane as well as them and their dad sane. Yeah, that's one of the things, isn't it, that we're all struggling with in this kind of lengthy time, is actually keeping our mental well-being as good as Absolutely. It can be. And those of us that are able, I think getting outside is really important if we can, isn't it? Yes, definitely. Yeah. I think that's the key to it, is just to have routine and just to get outside in whatever fresh air there is out there. I mean, I've been stood outside the surgery in -3 for 2 hours, and I've been out there in pouring rain and brilliant sunshine back in the summer. So, yeah. So, as a cook, a chef, I don't know how you. I'm not a chef. I'm a home cook. You're a home cook. Yeah. What's your signature dish? Do you have a dish that you think I really enjoy cooking, or I really know that everybody in the family really likes this particular thing? Well, it changes really, because I like baking. I'll be honest, I like baking, but so we have one thing that my daughter likes is if I do a picnic plat. So, but the part that goes inside can be anything really. So it's traditionally done with sausage meat and onions and so on. Right. So it's a glorified sausage roll really. Right. Okay. But I found a really nice recipe at the moment for a ginger and lime, and coconut. I knew there's a missing it. And that's proved really popular because my family aren't very keen on ginger, but they seem to be enjoying this cake. So, yeah. Now, is it true then that there's a cookbook somewhere? Have I heard this? You're quite right. It's sat on my computer here now. I'm just waiting for my son Jamie to convert it so I can send it on for publishing. So we're a bit behind schedule. Well, a very, very large amount behind schedule, because it was due to be done last year. But we've got over 80 recipes in it. So where has this idea come from, and how have you collected it all together? Well, we produced a cookbook. We were trying to raise funds for the church, the 2 churches, Hale and Woodgreen. Oh, well, it's 11 years ago now. So that I sowed the seed of the idea, and others put that one together, because I was working full time then. Sure. Back in the end of 2019, I realised it was 10 years since we had that one. So I thought it was a good time to produce a new one. And then lockdown happened, so it made things a bit more tricky to just keep reminding people to send in recipes. So I've got quite a few of mine in there, but I've got a lot that are not mine. So it's coming together really well, and Jamie's been brilliant editing it and putting it all together for me, and doing some fantastic artwork. You'll see when you get your copy how amazing it is. I don't take any credit for that at all, but for putting it together, it's been a labour of love. It's a labour, well, and sharing love with everybody else. Absolutely. Wonderful food as well. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So without wishing to sort of push you, when do you think these books will be available? Well, I'm hoping it'll be I've got to pass it on to the person that's printing it, so it depends on the printers at this point. So I'm hoping it'll be out sometime next month. So just watch this space. Keep your eye on Partners. Yeah. Any posters going up where I can get them. Yeah. And this is going to be, the proceeds from the cookbook are for the Hale and Woodgreen churches. Yes. Yes. Right. Right. Okay.
I went yesterday because I was in church yesterday at Fordingbridge preaching the sermon, and I decided it would be quite nice to go into the church and do the sermon there,
Yeah.
which I think we're currently allowed to do. And after the service, I went to find the new farm shop at
Okay.
Augustus Park. I have to
Yeah.
tell you, folks, and you'll laugh at this, I got slightly lost in Fordingbridge. I didn't think it would be possible because I didn't think it was that big.
Oh,
However, I did find Augustus Park and the farm shop was open, and I was just thinking, I wonder whether they would have the cookbook up there.
That's a brilliant idea. I haven't been to this farm shop, but I'm a great supporter because obviously with my farming background, I want to support others. That's a really good idea. I'm sure they would.
I wanted to buy something. I made the point of saying, you know, the church told us that this was the place to come, you know, to have a look around.
Yeah.
St Mary's at Fordingbridge, because I know we've got a link there already that people have started, which is great. And I wanted to buy something. I have to confess, I looked around and I thought that's a bit pricey, but I did find 2 Fordingbridge pasties.
Oh,
for £2.50 a go, and
that's all right.
They were lovely. I did say to the young lady, do you know what's in this pasty? And she said, not really. And I said, because I thought, well, if it's called a Fordingbridge pasty, maybe it's got some sort of Fordingbridge ingredient, you know.
Absolutely.
I said, I suppose it's got meat. She said, yes, I think so. So
that's one work in progress then.
But I have to say, they were lovely. So, you know, there might be a little connection there to slip a few cookbooks up, mightn't there?
Absolutely, yes.
It's very smart at the moment. I wanted a coffee, to be honest, and they're not doing coffees yet, but they're about to launch coffees, takeaway coffees. But might be a useful connection.
Yes, I think having coffee like that is a really good way to draw people in as well, because if it is a bit pricey, hopefully they can afford the price of a tea or a coffee.
That's right. Now, the other thing I know about you, and you've mentioned it anyway, is your sewing. And I remember at some point, I think when we were at Hale Church together, it might have been Christmas Day, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was. I remember saying, I love your masks and I'm looking for another one. And you said, well, I have some. And I said, I don't suppose you've got one with camper vans on it. And lo and behold, you have.
There it is.
I'm just going to show this to the camera. I think we might get it there.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely, I mean, this is delightful. We have a camper van. We have a blue one. It's that kind of blue.
Perfect.
And it's not, I'm afraid, as smart as one of these, which is called a Splitty. But it is a lovely camper van. And this is my camper van mask. So I'm delighted to have that. So how did you get involved in the masks? Is that something that you've been doing once or? So
back at the beginning of lockdown, going from being, you know, a full-time teacher, helping with the grandchildren, running a house and so on, I won't say I was bored, but I was getting cross because I need to keep these hands busy. So I saw on Facebook that they were wanting gowns for the NHS, not gowns, scrubs.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with the New Forest group and I made 9 sets of scrubs.
My gosh.
So that was the first one. You only had a week to do 3 in, so you had to be pretty good and pretty on it.
Right.
So I did 9 sets of scrubs, and then the local ladies at Hyde Church, and I'm afraid I can't remember their names, they were looking for people to finish off making gowns, the disposable ones. So I made 10 gowns.
Gosh.
And then I saw the pattern on one of the websites for these masks and made some up, tried them out, and ladies who I was contacting for the carings to help keep an eye on people who might be a bit lonely, they offered me fabric, so I took their fabric and dug in my box of bits and pieces and started making masks, advertised them to family and friends and through partners again, and people like your good self seeing them. And I must have made over 200 masks.
My gosh.
I know, it's crazy.
This is a labour of love. Well done.
Well, it's a bit like a production line, because once you've done them, you know the problems. But I did cut one or two upside down, like your camper vans have got to be the right way up.
Well, I mean, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm delighted with it. You'll hear in the background now the telephone ringing here. Just ignore that.
Yeah, we'll ignore that.
About that. We'll ignore that.
But the good thing with the mask making is that I raised over £500 for the Trussell Trust for the local food bank.
Wow, that is stunning.
Well, I mean, it came from love, and it came from scraps of fabric, so it doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah.
Lynda, you are an amazing woman with many talents. I can see that. Wonderful God-given gifts there. You have
Absolutely.
so much to offer, which is fantastic. And I know now, I have to say, the other talent that you're about to share with all of us is that you've recently taken on a new role, as if you didn't have enough to do, of being a churchwarden, I think.
Yes, that's proving tricky, because I got sworn in. I then started thinking, well, what do I do? What does this involve? So I'm sort of learning on the job. And the biggest problem at the moment, I shouldn't laugh really, is trying to get into St Boniface Church, because this time of year the door swells and you can't open it. So I've been allowed to have some keys at last. So I've got to try and get in later on today, because we have a funeral there tomorrow.
I'm tempted to say you might need the services of a carpenter.
I know, exactly. So I think it's not just me that's churchwarden. I think it's a double act, myself and Charlie.
Yes.
So although he's not been sworn in, I've sworn him in.
I think it helps tremendously to have someone also who might be your second hand person.
Yeah, definitely. I was asked to be churchwarden by Simon Horn, who many people will know, many years ago. Right. And I said, I can't, I've got too much on. And it's true, I couldn't have done it properly then. But yeah, now is the right time to take on that role. Wow. And it's proving interesting.
We look forward very much to your ministry in that area, because I'm sure it's going to be very flourishing and fruitful for you.
Thank you. I hope so.
I'm sure it will be. Lynda, I feel that we've chatted well, and it's been lovely to talk to you.
And yourself, thank you.
Thank you. I suppose it would be nice, just perhaps in the way of closing, just to say, perhaps you could share with us one of your favourite hymns.
Well, yes, I can. We have picnic praise on the Common every summer, and we ask people for their favourite hymns. And I know this is a favourite hymn of mine and Beverly Judd's. So it's Morning Has Broken. And I had it at my wedding. I think Beverly had it at their wedding. So it has very special memories for me of singing it as a child at church as well. So
lovely. Yeah,
Morning Has Broken.
Morning Has Broken. Lovely. Yeah. I'm sure the techie people will be able to add that to the end or the beginning of our conversation, which will be very special.
I hope so. That would be lovely.
Yeah. Lynda, thank you so much. It's been a joy and a delight, and I look forward to the time when we can meet again in person.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Take care.
Well,
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Mine is the sun.